Campi Flegrei, the super volcano in Naples in Italy, is dangerous and it's rumbling. And guys, maybe you have seen my last video. That changes everything. The last two studies, they got the data wrong. It's mind-blowing. So now we know magma's closer to the surface than we think, and it's way more dangerous. And you should watch that video, by the way. But today's video is about, I want to really show you how this looks like, what the volcano is already doing to the residents, and it's coming through. I've recently reported that it's coming through pavement, that it's coming through roads, that the roads are bubbling and boiling. But guys, it's in homes. And I don't mean the CO2 that they have detected, the increased gas emissions that they have detected in homes, schools, sports centers, where for months people felt dizzy, they felt sick, they felt ill, they thought something's wrong. And it took a very, very long time until they realized the volcanic gases are in the homes. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something that looks like an end of days scenario when you see it, how the volcano is taking over structures. And maybe you would imagine an abandoned house that's being taken over by growing plants that are creeping along the walls. This is what the volcano does. So look at this picture, guys, because the threat is real and it's visible already right now. And all that in light of this increased earthquake swarm that we have going right now, with earthquakes every day, and they're increasing in magnitude for weeks. I would say almost 4 weeks right now. This is the list, by the way, but I'll show it to you again at the end of the video because you want to see what this volcano does. So many people, when they think about Italy and the Naples region with more than 6 million people, they think, oh my God, there's Vesuvius that has wiped out Pompeii and Herculaneum, this monstrosity of a dangerous stratovolcano. And yes, if you're in the area, if you're on the beach, if you're in Naples, Vesuvius is towering the area and the landscapes there, no question. But the bigger danger lies in an area that doesn't look like a volcano, that is highly densely populated because people settled on the volcano, because it didn't look like one. Look at that red ring. This is the Campi Flegrei Super Volcano, consisting of many calderas. The last eruption in 1538, the Monte Nuovo crater was created. And so they were building and building, they didn't realize it. And guys, again, the last two studies show that they all got their data wrong to this day in how they estimated what the volcano did in the past and what it could do in the present. And the question that I have, and you probably as well, especially if you've seen all my other Campi Flegrei videos, geez, why are they not moving people away from the red zone that is 500,000 people? But I'm drifting away because I'm so scared for that region. But Vesuvius, yes, dangerous. But on the other side of the city, the scientists have seen an alarming increase, and we have to name it volcanic activity. Not seismic activity, that as well, but the whole thing is volcanic activity. If we look at Pischiarelli, that's by the Solfatara crater, that sand dune-like area, it's a vast fumarole with, it's a vent of bubbling gas and mud. The gas emissions are increasing. The temperatures are increasing drastically. So in recent years, this has turned larger, and it has turned basically into a destroyer. So what is it destroying? A few hundred feet away from that fumarole, there's a now deserted building. And we look at the inside walls of this building. The inside walls and the floors of the building are covered in a thick, solidified layer of ooze. And the air, if you smell the air, It smells like, it's like an acid smell of sulfur. Very, very dangerous. So the volcanic vent, that Fumarole has claimed the entire building. We can call this, guys, by the volcano, it's a hostile takeover. It is. So how did this happen? It happened slowly but steady. So that Fumarole has, how can we say, started drilling with the gas emissions into the walls of this building, has basically punched holes through the walls. And that's how it was able to enter the building. And if you go in there and if you put your hand on the wall, you can feel it. It's not warm. It's terribly hot. Really, really hot, guys. And I mean, this is an abandoned building, but if you look at the map, there's so many buildings there where people actually live. If they sit on their balcony, they can watch the Fumaroles. And they just plan to build a hotel right there. Of course, for these developers, it was a big deal last year when all these reports were coming out, how dangerous this is, and scientists calling for evacuation. And they were like, you're destroying our economy, you're destroying business, real estate values. So it was a real fight that they're having with the authorities. And again, the last two studies, you have to guys, you have to take the time to watch that video until the end, because it's crucial that you know that and tell everyone else that they have to know that, especially if they live in the area or even if they plan to visit for a vacation. So with your hand on the wall, feeling the volcano. So it's hot. The gas was entering the building, and when the gas is actually cooling there, it releases dissolved minerals, and you can see them. These minerals, they stick together to form that like thick volcanic scum that is now basically, it's consuming the entire house. As if that wasn't a warning sign enough, because it's doing this to the road, it's doing this to car dealerships nearby. These vents are popping up everywhere. Then they pave the road, it's popping up again. They pave the road, it's popping up again. So where actually is that volcano that is driving all this activity? So the vent is in an area that they call the Campi Flegrei, which is home to hundreds of thousands of people. Over 6 million people in the greater Naples area. Only if you have a very, very trained eye, you can spot the volcano. You have to look at this aerial satellite picture. Then you see like, oh, it looks like an asteroid was crashing into there, multiple ones, or bombs or something like this. This is how these craters look. The first thing you notice when you look at it from the air, if you look at the shoreline, if you're coming at it from the Bay of Naples, then you start to see a quite prominent ridgeline. And then it comes all the way towards the main city center. And it's like clearly curved. And then within there, there's a densely populated flat area. Highly densely populated. So that ridgeline, if you see that with your trained eye, that tells you something about a feature that is actually forming this landscape. That's an ancient, very large volcano, but ancient doesn't mean dormant. The opposite is the case. And in particular, when you look at that Solfatara crater and the whole caldera. So why does the volcano look like this? What is a caldera? A caldera is basically a collapsed volcano. So in the very past, Campi Flegrei was quite a flat area, like a flat plain. But then deep beneath was a huge reservoir of magma, still is. Bubbling magma, very hot magma, aggressive magma. And then when the magma started moving upwards, basically smashing through any weakness in the rocks that it could find. It was finding a way to the surface and resulting in a very powerful eruption. So this powerful eruption left an empty void beneath the surface where the magma was stored previously. So if you have such a big hole, it did collapse, like a sinkhole is formed. Nothing was left to support the weight of the rocks and the surface of this plain area. So it has collapsed downwards and has formed this crater that we know as caldera. They have done radioactive dating of rocks that reveal that this caldera formed 15,000 years ago. It's nearly 8 miles wide. It's huge. That's why you can't really identify it as a volcano. And we know that it must have been created by an incredibly large and powerful eruption that has affected Europe and probably more parts of the world, with volcanic winter, famine, crops being damaged, cold temperatures. Absolutely horrifying. So this is what I wanted to show you. This is what we're dealing with. And this hostile takeover is accelerating rapidly, guys. So here's the video in the end screen. Check it out, guys. I really want to see you there in a second. And if you like what you see, and if you think you need to fill me up with coffee so that I can keep going, it's greatly appreciated. Link is in the description of this video. I have a buymeacoffee.com/silky site. Thank you for your supers. Thanks for sharing, for hyping, and for liking. And hello to my members. New video very, very soon. I see you here. Bye-bye.